Beowulf, Chapter 13. Rejoicing of the Danes. Morning broke with golden light, and news flew fast from hall to hill. Grendel was gone. The foe had fled, his body broken, blood trail wide, a monster maimed by mortal hand. The Danes rejoiced. From near and far came warriors bold, young men and grey, to gaze in awe at the hall's great proof. The demon's arm, with talon and claw, hung high beneath the heaven's roof. They traced the trail through fen and field, the twisted path of Grendel's flight, back to the lake, the cursed mere, where waters boiled with his last breath. Dark was the pool, its depths defiled, a place where light would never linger. Blood bubbled up from the demon's grave, a sign that hell had claimed its kin. The Danes returned with hearts ablaze, telling the tale of heroes' might, how Beowulf, without a sword, had conquered fear with fearless grip. Inside the hall, the harps resounded. Skalds sang songs of ancient kings, of Siegmund slaying serpent beasts, of Fitela by his uncle's side. So too now Beowulf's fame would rise, etched in story, sung in mead halls. Hrothgar came, the ring giver, proud, his eyes alight with awe and thanks. He looked on Grendel's severed limb and praised the Geats with gracious words. Lo, what joy you've brought, brave friend. Long have I ruled, led shield and spear, but never known such mighty deed as this night's work. You've cleansed this hall, not just with hand, but with your heart. May your name live while men live on, a beacon bright in days to come. Let us reward you with treasure and song, for your valour has healed what grief once haunted. Chapter 14. Beowulf receives honours. Then Hrothgar spoke, the silver-haired king, high on his throne in the golden hall. Let the feast begin, let gladness rise, for Beowulf, brave among all men, has brought us peace with his mighty hand. The benches filled with warriors bold, both Geat and Dane in harmony. The mead horns passed, the harp strings rang, the laughter warmed the timbered roof. Then gifts were brought, great heirlooms old, a golden banner gleaming bright, a helmet wound with wondrous wire, a sword adorned with serpent runes, and a breastplate burnished like a flame. Beowulf bowed as these were given, not in pride, but with honour due. The king declared, no fairer warrior has walked these halls since first they rose. Your name shall shine while tales are told. 4 fine steeds with silver saddles were brought and led before the hall. These, said Hrothgar, are yours, brave guest. May they serve your house as you have served mine. To Beowulf's men came treasures too, broad blades, arm rings, plated helms. No man was missed, none left out. The ring-giver's heart was open wide. Then Heorot rang with joy and mead, the shadow of fear at last dispelled. They sang of heroes in the golden hall, of fair Frevaru, of feuds now stilled, and Beowulf's fame that none could match. The evening waned in golden glow, by firelight's gleam the warriors slept. Peace returned to the hearth of Hrothgar, and glory rested on Beowulf's brow. Chapter 15. The Scop's Song and More Gifts. When the mead hall had flowed and hearts were light, a harp was brought to the hall once more. The Scop stood proud in the golden light and struck the strings to weave old lore. He sang of heroes old and famed, of Finn and Hengest, fierce in feud, of blood-stained halls and bonds once broken, of grief and vengeance, glory and doom. The songs stirred hearts, the Danes sat still, each warrior wrapped in woven words. Beowulf listened, his brow serene, the stories of old like wind through leaves. When silence fell and harp was hushed, Hrothgar rose and called for more. To Beowulf's band came gifts anew, gold-gilt swords, rich robes and rings. The slain were mourned with solemn rite, and Esher's seat stood empty still. But peace had come, and gifts were given, the bonds of kinship tightly sealed. The Queen, fair Wealhtheow, rose and spoke. To Beowulf brave I give this ring, a talk of gold to grace thy throat, a token of thanks from Dane to Geat. Wear it with honour, and guard thy fame, as long as thy name lives in the world. She turned to the king with gentle grace. Guard this hall and guide our sons, that when you pass to halls above, a worthy heir shall wear the crown. The hall grew still in thought and prayer, and deep into the night they feasted, grateful for peace, for lights restored, for heroes true, and deeds well done. Chapter 16. Rest after victory. Then the brave-hearted warrior gave thanks to God the Almighty for his victory in battle. He had fulfilled his word to the Danes, had saved the land from a fearsome foe. Now the great hall stood tall and golden again, cleansed of the shadow that had haunted it. The Geatish hero, proud and strong, rested in the hall with his loyal men. They had earned peace, no monster would come slinking through the night again, not while Beowulf watched over Heorot. The Danes rejoiced, their sorrow was lifted. Songs rose in the hall, tales of courage and fate. Old warriors spoke of Beowulf's might, his iron grip, his fearless heart, the king himself. Wise Hrothgar was filled with joy. His eyes shone as he looked at the hero who had given him back their home. The sun climbed high, warming the land. Warriors strolled outside, marvelling at the strength of one man's arm, the hand that had torn evil from the walls of the world. And so, for a time, peace returned. The hall echoed with laughter, the clink of cups. The Danes and the Geats together shared their gladness, bound by bravery and honour. Chapter 17. Hrothgar's speech and Grendel's arm. Then Hrothgar, guardian of the Danes, climbed to the high seat, glad of heart. He gazed at the hero who had silenced the hall, and spoke with the wisdom of an old and tested king. You have done what no man before you could do. Not one of my warriors bold and true could break Grendel's grip or turn him back, but you, Beowulf, through courage and God's grace, have freed us from the shadow. Here in Heorot, where sorrow reigned, we now feast in peace, thanks to your strength. Your name will be spoken by men unborn, your deeds remembered in song and story. He turned and pointed to the grisly trophy, Grendel's torn arm, claw and shoulder. Nailed high under the roof beams, the horror of it froze the hearts of every man who saw it. The wicked claw, the twisted sinew, the monstrous skin. No smith's blade, no steel from any forge could have done what Beowulf's grip had done. It was a fight not of weapons, but of will and strength alone. Then Hrothgar called for a feast, and richly heaped the tables high with meat and mead. Laughter rose where once only cries had echoed. He gave to Beowulf treasures of gold, a fine sword, a helmet of steel, a mail coat gleaming like dragon scale. and 8 swift horses with golden bridles. One of them, a war saddle, rested, Hrothgar's own, once used in battle, when he led his men against monsters and foes. All this he gave to honour the Geat, the man who fought without fear and brought peace back to the land of the Danes. Chapter 18. Gifts for the Geats. The celebration in Heorot continued, echoing with music, laughter and praise. Hrothgar, noble king of the Danes, was not finished showing his gratitude. Now he turned to reward the rest, those loyal Geats who had followed Beowulf across the sea to face a monster. To each man he gave treasures, fine gold, rings, weapons of worth. No one was forgotten. Each warrior was honoured for standing with their leader in the dark hour of danger. He ordered gold to be brought for the one who had fallen, Heorot, his faithful thane, killed by Grendel's kin. A song was sung in memory of the dead, of brave hearts stilled, of battles won and lost. The hall rang with joy again, the walls no longer wept, for sorrow had passed, driven out by Beowulf's strength, and the gifts of a grateful king. Then Hrothgar spoke of peace, of bonds between Geats and Danes, of trust built not by treaty, but by valour and shared struggle. Beowulf, humble despite his glory, bowed his head in thanks. He made no boasts, no proud claims, but pledged his loyalty and respect. The fires burned low as night fell again, but this time no fear crept through the dark. Men slept with full bellies and calm hearts, for the hall stood safe beneath its golden roof. And Grendel's arms still hung above them, a reminder of the night when evil fled before the hand of a hero.